Hi everybody. This is lecture for topic 8, which is about the transfer pricing. Okay, so the first thing that you have to know is what is about the transfer pricing. Okay, see here. A transfer price is the price charged when one segment of a company provides goods or services to another segment of the company. So, in the previous topics, you have learned about segments of business. A business, a big business, most of the time has several segments. There is one big business and then segment A or segment 1. Under the big business, there are segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, segment 4, etc. The easier example that I can think is like a big business is Panasonic. Under Panasonic, there are many segments. Panasonic TV, Panasonic washing machine, Panasonic air conditions, Panasonic what is another one? Panasonic compressor. So, and there are many more. Panasonic kitchen appliances, etc. So, in many times, one segment of the business will sell its product to another segment of the business. For example, for the Panasonic, the thing that can happen is Panasonic air condition segment will purchase the product of Panasonic compressor. The compressor is one component of the air condition. So for the segment of Panasonic air condition, the segment can purchase air condition compressor from another segment of Panasonic, which is the Panasonic compressor, or the segment of Panasonic air condition can purchase the compressor from other companies. So if the Panasonic air condition purchase the compressor from Panasonic compressor, then there is a need for decision about how much is the transfer pricing. How much is the price of the compressor produced by Panasonic compressor to be transferred to the Panasonic air condition segment. So that is about the transfer pricing. Okay, the fundamental objective in setting the transfer price is to motivate managers to act in the best interest of the overall company. This point says that when there is a need to transfer a product from one segment within the business to another segment of the business, then the transfer price should be set at the point that can motivate managers of both segments to act in the best interest of the overall company, because the transfer happen within a same big company. Okay, let's see. When one segment within a company went to sell its product to another segment of within the company, there is a need to set the transfer price. So there are 3 types or approaches that can be used to set the transfer price. The first approach is called negotiated transfer prices. The second approach is transfers at the cost to the selling division. And the third approach is transfer at market price. So let's see the first one. Okay, negotiated transfer prices. So negotiated transfer price results from discussion between the selling and buying division. So it means that if a company uses this approach, the selling segment will negotiate with the buying segment. So the managers of the selling department will negotiate with the manager in the buying department. They will negotiate and hopefully get an agreed price, and a price, a transfer price that is agreed by both the by the selling segment and the buying segment. There are at least two advantages of using this approach. The first one, see the box in the left side of the slide. The first one is they preserve the autonomy of the divisions, which is consistent with the spirit of decentralization. If a company uses a negotiated approach, then the manager in the selling department and buying department, or selling segment and the buying segment, will feel that they have some autonomy or power. So it is good for them. The managers, the second point is the managers negotiating the transfer price are likely to have much better information about the potential costs and benefits of the transfer than others in the company. So if we allow these two managers to negotiate, they know what is the best for both segments. So if this approach is used, then the range of acceptable transfer price is within the price determined by the buyer or buying division or segment, and also the price determined by the selling division. The buying segment has the power to set the highest transfer price. The selling division segment has the power to set the lowest transfer price. Okay, let's say this is an example. So remember, this is the process of setting transfer price using negotiation approach. Okay, let's see. Assume the information shown with respect to West Coast Plantations and Grocery Mart. Both companies are owned by Grocery Storehouse. So the big company is the Grocery Storehouse. Under this big company, there are two segments: West Coast Plantations and Grocery Mart. The West Coast Plantation produces oranges. So see the West Coast Plantation navel orange harvest capacity per month is 10,000 crates. Variable cost per crate of navel oranges equal to $10 per crate. Fixed cost per month is $100,000. Selling price of navel oranges to the outside market equal to $25 per crate. Okay, Grocery Mart is another segment under the Grocery Storehouse. Grocery Mart is like I think like a supermarket or something that sells that also sells fresh product. So Grocery Mart purchase price of current navel oranges equal to $20 per crate. So currently the Grocery Mart purchase the oranges from outside. The purchase price is 20, and monthly sales of the navel oranges is equal to 1,000 crates. See here, West Coast, the capacity is 10,000 crates. Grocery Mart, another segment within the company, sells only 1,000 crates. So we can see the logic is West Coast Plantation can sell the navel oranges to the Grocery Mart. So this is the negotiation that happened. Grocery Mart want to purchase the navel oranges from West Coast Plantation, another segment within the same company. So just remember this. Okay, now the thing that you have to know about this or related to this approach, the selling divisions, which is the West Coast Plantation, lowest acceptable transfer price is calculated as, okay, this is the formula that you have to remember. If a question asks you to calculate what is the lowest acceptable transfer price, then this is the formula. So the lowest acceptable transfer price, the formula is this, like this, in the yellow box. Transfer price is equal to or more than variable cost per unit plus total contribution margin on lost sales divided by the number of unit transferred. Okay, let's see the calculation here. The buying divisions, let's calculate the lowest and highest acceptable transfer prices under three scenarios. So the first scenario is buying divisions highest acceptable transfer price is calculated as transfer price equal to or less than cost of buying from outside supplier. If an outside supplier does not exist, the highest acceptable transfer price is calculated as transfer price equal to or less than profit to be earned per unit sold, not including the transfer price. There is a simple question related to this, so let's see. Okay, if West Coast Plantation has sufficient idle capacity means unused capacity. Idle capacity here is 3,000 crates to satisfy Grocery Mart's demand of 1,000 crates without sacrificing sales to other customers, then the lowest and highest possible transfer price are computed as follows. Okay, this is the case of sufficient idle capacity. There is a sufficient idle capacity. So for this situation or scenario, the selling division's lowest possible transfer price is, you have to use the formula. Transfer price equal to or more than $10 plus plus $0 divided by 1,000, which is equal to 10. So you have to refer the formula in the previous slide. And then the buying division highest possible transfer price is equal to transfer price equal to or less than cost of buying from the outside supplier. So the number is $20. So for this scenario, the range of acceptable transfer price is between $10 to $20. Remember, this is the case of sufficient idle capacity. Okay, let's say this is the second scenario. If West Coast Plantation has no idle capacity, no idle capacity means that West Coast Plantation now selling all the oranges to other parties. Everything is sold to other parties. Okay, there is no idle capacity, and must sacrifice other customer orders to meet Grocery Mart demands. Then the lowest and highest possible transfer prices are computed as follows. So when there is no idle capacity, West Coast Plantations, the capacity is 10,000 crates. Now every time or every month or every year, West Coast Plantations sells all these 10,000 crates to customers. So there is no adversity. So if West Coast Plantation want to sell 1,000 crates to grocery marts, then then West Coast Plantation has to sacrifice 10,000 crates that they can sell to other customers before. So this is the situation. The situation is no idle capacity. So if the situation is no idle capacity, then how to calculate the ranges of acceptable price? So let's see, if there is no idle capacity, then the calculation for selling division's lowest possible transfer price equal to $10 plus $25 minus 10 times 1,000 divided by 1,000. So the selling division's lowest possible transfer price is equal to 25. The buying division's highest possible transfer price is $20. Okay, let's see. So if for these two numbers, the thing that you can understand is the selling division want to sell the oranges at $25. The buying division want to purchase the orange at $20. So for this situation, there is no range of acceptable transfer prices. Both party cannot will not agree about the price, because the selling division or segment want to sell it at 25. The buying division willing to pay only 20. So there is no acceptable price for both segments. Okay, now what is the calculation if there are some idle capacity? West Coast Plantation has 500 crates available to be sold to the grocery mart. So if this is the situation, then the calculation is like this. So the transfer price, selling division's lowest possible transfer price is $17.50. Buying division's highest possible transfer price is $20. So the range of acceptable transfer price is $17.50 to $20. So the transfer can happen. It's possible to transfer the oranges from the selling segment to the buying segment. Okay, so you have seen three scenarios, and then three calculations that you can use to solve the problem that you have seen in the three scenarios. Evaluation of negotiated transfer prices. If a transfer within a company will result in higher overall profits for the company, there is always a range of transfer prices within which both the selling and buying divisions will have higher profits if they agree to the transfer. If managers are pitted against each other rather than against the past performance or reasonable benchmarks, a non-cooperative atmosphere is almost guaranteed. Given the disputes that often accompany the negotiation process, most companies rely on some other means of setting transfer prices. So the slide says that something like this. If a company uses the negotiation approach, if both the purchasing segment and if both the selling segment and buying segments are sincere about the transfer, then if the transfer happen, it will benefit the company as a whole. But in many cases or instances, very difficult to see sincere managers or sincere people working in a company. So most of the time negotiation approach cannot settle the problem of transfer pricing. So big companies, they if the negotiation doesn't work, then the company will use other approaches. So there are two more approaches. Okay, the second approach that can be used to settle the problem of transfer price is the transfers at the cost to the selling division. So see here, many companies set transfer prices at either the variable cost or full cost incurred by the selling division. So most of like I said earlier, many times the negotiation approach is not successful. No success. So this second approach can be used. Using this approach, the transfer price is set at the cost. So let's see here. If the transfer price is set at the cost, then there are several disadvantages or drawbacks. The first one is using full cost as a transfer price can lead to sub-optimization. Sub-optimization means the selling segment will become complacent. The manager in the selling segment will not make any effort to minimize cost or to reduce cost, because they know every time they produce something, they can sell the thing or product to another segment within the business at the cost. So there is no motivation to reduce the cost. Number two, the selling division will never show a profit on any internal transfer. So this is another disadvantage. If the transfer price is set at cost, then the selling segment will not make any profit. Number three, the disadvantage is cost-based transfer price do not provide incentive to control cost, like I said in the point number one. Okay, another approach that can be used to set the transfer price is to use the market price. A market price, which is the price charged for an item on the open market, is often regarded as the best approach to the transfer pricing problem. See the second box. A market price approach works best when the product or service is sold in its present form to outside customers and the selling divisions has no idle capacity. A market price approach does not work well when the selling division has idle capacity. Okay, this is an additional point. Divisional autonomy and sub-optimization. Okay, the principle of decentralization suggests that companies should grant managers autonomy to set transfer prices and to decide whether to sell internally or externally, even if this may occasionally result in suboptimal decision. This way, top management allows subordinates to control their own destiny. So remember the principle of decentralization. You have learned about this principle in the previous topic. Decentralization means that the middle managers and lower level managers have some authority to make decision for their segment or department. So when a company applies the principle of decentralization, the company will allow the managers to negotiate. Sometimes the negotiation will result in suboptimal decision. Sometimes the decision is good. Sometimes the decision is not very good. But using the principle of decentralization, the good thing is the top management allows subordinates or the lower level managers to control their own destiny. They make decision and they will, if they make good decision, then they are happy. If they are making not good decisions, then they have to responsible for what they are doing. Okay, this is the end of the topic 8. So what are the things that you have learned in this topic? The thing that you have learned is, first, the definition of transfer price. Remember the definition of transfer price. The transfer price is the price for items, for an item or anything, when there is a transfer from one segment in a business to another segment within the business. So the example that you have seen is, there is one company. The company has two segments. The segment that produces oranges want to transfer the oranges to another segment, which is the grocery mart. So that the price for the transfer is called the transfer price. And then in this topic, you learn that there are 3 approaches that can be used to set the transfer price. The first approach is the negotiation approach. For the negotiation approach, the good thing is the managers of the selling department segment and the buying segment can negotiate what is the good price for both parties. And then you have seen 3 scenarios: idle capacity scenarios, no idle capacity scenarios, and some idle capacity scenarios. So you can see it there. The negotiation approach is not an easy approach. It has some advantages, but it is not an easy approach. Okay, the alternative to the negotiation approach is the second approach and the third approach. The second approach is the transfer price at cost. So the selling segment will transfer its product to the buying segment at the cost. So there are some disadvantages if a company uses this approach. The main disadvantage is the selling segment has no motivation to reduce costs, because they know every time they produce something, they can sell it at the cost to the buying segment. That's not a good thing about that approach. The third approach is to transfer the items or product at the market price. Okay, maybe this is the best method. When the item is transferred at the market price, both the selling department, the selling segment and the buying segment are satisfied with what they can offer to each other. Okay, that's all for the topic number 8. You can communicate with me in the comment section.